We're definitely getting near the end of this grid, and I do want to say I appreciate every last one of you who has watched every single video. I know there's a few of you guys out there that have tuned in and commented on every single one, and you guys are awesome, and if there's anything that I can do in regards to content that you guys are interested in, let me know. Those are the people that, I want to take care of 100%. And anybody else who is interested in seeing some different content, feel free to comment down below. Let me know what you're interested. I know I got a comment a few days ago asking for some more Pokemon Showdown related videos, and I can definitely put a couple of those together once I think of some ideas. Because once this series is done, I'll definitely have to figure out a couple of things. But we're going to talk about some ghost types today. We're going to talk about what the best ghost types are in all of Pokemon. And we're going to start with Generation 1, and man, is this a tough choice. I mean, you can either pick Gengar, or you can pick a worse version of Gengar, or you can pick another worse version of Gengar. Like, I can't decide how difficult this decision is. This is an incredibly difficult decision. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it, dude. I can't decide. I can't decide. This is so difficult to decide. This is really, really hard for me to decide between. I don't know. I don't know. This is a really difficult decision. I really don't know. I guess we're going to have to go with Misdreavus. I guess so. I didn't want to, but I had to. Generation 3. It's Sableye. And here's why it's Sableye. Wonder Guard straight up just doesn't work. Anybody who has a brain knows how to use Wonder Guard. Okay? If you have a brain, Shedinja's bad. If you play against somebody who doesn't have a brain, like an AI in the game, Shedinja's fine. But if you have a brain, Shedinja bad. Okay? Sableye has no weaknesses in Generation 3. Zero. Zero weaknesses. Being Dark and Ghost. The only other Pokemon that's ever been introduced that has zero weaknesses is Spiritomb, being Dark and Ghost in Generation 4. Up until the Fairy type came out, which it then finally gained a Fairy weakness, and that was it. No other Pokemon has ever been introduced without a weakness. And no, I am not counting Electros, because Mold Breaker exists, Skill Swap exists, there's other things that can cause that thing to have a weakness. But Sableye? No weaknesses. And I actually think that it's the best just based off that, because there's so many different ways you can use Sableye because of that. And Dusclops just isn't good enough. Dusknoir got introduced in Generation 4, which, upgraded Dusclops, but otherwise, no. No. So for Generation 4, I talked about Spiritomb. I think some of you guys would want me to go Rotom here, but keep in mind, this is base form Rotom. This is not Rotom Wash, Rotom Mow, Rotom Fan, all those. It's not those, right? And the reason why it's not those is because those drop the Ghost type and gain the Electric type, plus whatever type it is. So because of that, Rotom is not the answer, because the base form Rotom is weaker than the rest of those. The answer is still Spiritomb. No weaknesses. This is basically Sableye with better attack. Sableye with better offensive ability and still no weaknesses, so you can still wall a lot of different Pokemon. Great Pokemon. Generation 5. Generation 5. I'm going to go with Chandelure. Fire and Ghost was not a typing we had seen before this. If not, it was on a really bad Pokemon. And offensively and defensively, it actually meshes together really well. Because you can still wall certain typings just like you could with most Ghost types. And you have a lot of offensive firepower. If you bring Shadow Ball and Flamethrower kind of together, or Fire Blast, or whatever fire move you want to use, they go together really well as this thing just being a really strong special attacker. I think this thing's a Nasty Plot user as well. If it's not, then it does have a stat boosting move, maybe Calm Mind, but I think it's a Nasty Plot user as well, and it's super strong. Generation 6, one of my favorite Pokemon ever. It's Aegislash. Listen, when you design a Pokemon this overpowered, but at the same time this cool looking, you're going to win my heart over. The fact that you can use an offensive move on Aegislash, and he changes to his sword form, and absolutely one-shots everyone because his stats go from heavy defense to heavy offense. And then you can use Wide Guard or Protect or any sort of defensive move, and he switches to his shield form and cannot be hit at all in his shield form because he just walls everything. What you do with Aegislash is you put yourself in a situation, and this thing gets autonomized. You put yourself in a situation where you're faster than the other Pokemon, and the game is over. You give it autotomize, you give it Swords Dance, and you wall anything that will be harmful to you. You can wall in time, and anything that you can one-shot, you will one-shot. This thing can destroy anything at any time. Stance Change is the most broken ability Pokemon has ever made. The most broken ability Pokemon has ever made is Stance Change. No one's convincing me otherwise. It 100% is. That's why they have not duplicated it. Because there are other Pokemon in the past that they could have duplicated Stance Change on. They chose not to. They chose not to. They could have. They chose not to. Because they know how broken it was, and they know they made a mistake. And you know what? If Aegislash is not in Pokemon Legends ZA, or a variation, a regional variant of Aegislash potentially, I'll be really sad. Because I think this thing is amazing. It's one of the most iconic Pokemon in Generation 6 outside of Greninja. There's no reason why this thing should not be in the game. And if you make a regional variant, keep Stance Change, maybe change the typing. I think that would be unique and would work out really well. But I also don't know how you change the typing of a sword that's possessed. Obviously, it's Steel Ghost. It makes sense. That's a tough one. We'll think about that for a while. Generation 7. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's Decidueye. I wanted it. I wanted it to be Mimikyu. I don't think Mimikyu is as good as people say it is. It's iconic. It's not good. It's just, it is what it is. It has good ability. Decidueye is still better. Generation 8. So, yeah, I mean, why are we even having a conversation? Dragapult's one of the best pseudo-legendaries ever made. And the fact that they gave a pseudo-legendary ghost typing was just absolutely broken in every way. Dragapult's an absolute monster. He does so many great things for you, and he has a really, really unique and really strong typing. Gen 9 is my boy, Skeledirge. Someone tried to comment, or not tried, someone commented about Skeledirge. Supposedly the fire crocodile is dead, and this is what possessed its body, is Skeledirge. That's supposedly the lore behind this, which I find very interesting, to say the least, to know that this is actually a possessed husk of a crocodile, not actually a crocodile. But that was really interesting when I read that comment, and I appreciate who left that comment down below to learn that about Skeledirge. It was really interesting. But yeah, this thing's a monster of a Pokemon, without question. A monster. Is it the best ghost type, though, ever made? No, come on, guys. I spent 5 minutes talking about this thing. I spent 5 minutes. Did you really think it wasn't going to be Aegislash? Aegislash is the best, no question. And you know what? I want everyone to comment down below Stance Change if you made it this far. If you made it this far, comment Stance Change. Thank you for watching. We got some dragons to talk about, and if you don't know, that's one of the more rare typings in the early generations, so I might only have 2 or 3 to choose from in the beginning. We will see how that goes, but thank you guys. I really appreciate your support all this time, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.